welcome back to my channel, and today we will just get right into it. I've had a few friends, a few family members, and everybody's just talking about this story right now. Today, I'd like to talk about a Georgia woman, Miss Adriana Smith, who until this day is still on life support, okay? Now, reports state that she suffered from a blood clot in her brain when she was just 9 weeks pregnant back in February. Now, she's currently located at Emory University Hospital, which is interesting because that's the same hospital that was under scrutiny. They were involved in a little bit of controversy back in December of 2022 when there was this ick video making its rounds on TikTok. If you're not familiar, go ahead and take a look at this clip.
For your induction, talking about, can I take a shower and eat?
What? My ick is when you ask me how much the baby weighs, and it's still in your hands.
Dad comes outside and asks for a paternity test right outside the room door.
Saying you don't want any pain medicine, no epidural, but you are at an 8 out of 10 pain with just a Cervidil, and you're still closed, fingertip.
When we've already told you to push a call light, but every 5 minutes, your family member coming at the front desk asking for something else. Excuse me, can I have a blanket? Another ick. When you're going room to room between one baby mama and your other baby mama.
Oh, no.
Ick. It's the unlimited trips to the nurse's station for me.
So as you see, family, Emory University Hospital is back at it again. I don't know what's going on over there. They seem to keep having issues when it comes to the maternity ward and, having babies and things like that. But I won't speak too long on that. Let's go ahead and move on. So now it states their plans are to keep Adriana Smith on life support until her fetus reaches viability, which from reading, typically that's around 32 weeks. However, doctors have noted concerns about the baby's health. So I've read different reports, but doctors say that they found fluid on the baby's brain, quoting, the baby may be blind, may not be able to walk, or may face other serious complications. They stated more tests are needed to determine full prognosis, okay? So that's pretty much just catching you up on the case and what's going on with Adriana Smith. The family is frustrated. I completely understand the family being frustrated. Now, the family is frustrated that they weren't given a choice to remove Adriana Smith off life support. And also they feel like this is something that should be left up to the family. It should not be dictated by Georgia's heartbeat law. So if you're not familiar with Georgia's heartbeat law, it's pretty much a law that bans abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy, okay? Now, I know, y'all, it's such a touchy subject. It's okay to use your emotions, but let's try to think and see what's the right thing here, all right? Now, I know there's mixed feelings. I know people want to, save the baby, okay? Do everything you can to save the baby. I know that's some people's mentality, some people's perception. I know other people's perception would be, hey, Adriana Smith has rights here. What's going on, It's not necessarily the family's rights, but it's the rights of Adriana that the family is fighting for. Okay. And then other people just simply think this is inhumane. All the experiments that's gone on in the Black community, I don't need to name those experiments and those situations that Black people have been faced and put in, but pretty much people think this is inhumane. And not just Black folks, you got other people who are saying this is also inhumane as well, and that the hospitals are possibly experimenting on Adriana Smith and that it's just immoral. So those are the concerns and the issues that I'm hearing from the community. Okay, family? Now, going back to the family, they had a few different reasons why they felt this was wrong, but their main concern and their main frustration was that they simply weren't given the choice to take Adriana off of life support, and they felt the Georgia heartbeat law was in the way of that. So I just wanted to bring everyone up to speed on the main issue at hand here, according to the family. So I do have a couple of points, but the first point I'd like to make is outside of the abortion law, we have what's called the fetal personhood argument. Now, with the fetal personhood argument, it's pretty much a legal concept that designates humans and fetuses as entities with rights and protections under the law, just like you and me. So, it pretty much does significantly impact productive or reproductive rights in healthcare because it's interfering with this case, as you see. They're saying, this person or this unborn child is a person as well, and we have to protect that baby. That also applies medically as well, okay? So family, I just want to drive home how the legal concept, fetal personhood, is technically in the way of Adriana's family being able to pull that plug, okay? That's just my personal opinion. Moving on to the Georgia House Bill 481, okay? It states here it's formally known as the Life Act or Living Infants, Fairness, and Equality Act. So I think right in the name, you can see where this bill is designed to protect infants and babies, right? Just from the name that it formally had, okay? So I just want to call that out. Now, this bill was passed in 2019. It went into effect January 2020, and it pretty much prevents doctors and physicians in the state of Georgia from performing abortions beyond 6 weeks. Now, there are exceptions like medical emergencies, what they call futile pregnancies, as well as pregnancies that were an unfortunate result of rape or incest, okay? So going back to the fetal, however you decide to say it, going back to the fetal pregnancy, they may have a case if the doctor's prognosis or their examination comes back in a timely manner. They may have a case where they can effectively take and remove Adriana Smith off of life support, okay? But they have to be able to prove that that baby's life is not viable past birth, all right? So the family, I do feel for them, but them quoting Georgia's heartbeat law kind of works against their favor because, again, the heartbeat law, House Bill 481, is formally known as what? The Living Infants, Fairness, and Equality Act. So you're pretty much fighting and using a bill for individual rights against a baby when that's what the law was designed for. It's designed to protect infants' rights, okay? So quoting Georgia's heartbeat law doesn't really resonate. It doesn't really hit home like it should in this case because the heartbeat law really is designed to protect the baby, the unborn child, the pregnancy of the individual, not the individual, if that makes sense. So that was my first original point after, doing a little research on the topic. My second point, now I've seen people say they're just experimenting on this woman. This is issues that we commonly face in the Black community, and I'm tired of it. I see many different people having those concerns. So any person would think, has this happened before? And the answer to that would be yes. There is a case. Her name is Susan Torres. Now, this happened back in 2005 in Virginia. She had a stroke, and the family decided to keep her on life support. The baby did survive. It was premature, but the baby did survive, okay? So that was one case I found. Another case I found was a woman who suffered from a pulmonary embolism. Her name was Marlise Munoz. This supposedly happened back in 2013 in Texas. Now, it ended with the court ruling in the family's favor. They were able to remove Miss Munoz off life support, but it states only because the pregnancy was considered not viable. So take note of that. And this was before all the abortion, rights and laws and things like that. So this was back in 2013, before all the abortion stuff. Even back then, they felt that the pregnancy needed to be considered not viable in order to terminate or to remove that woman, Miss Munoz, off of life support. So there's other states who do the same thing. There's other hospitals who do the same thing. The problem I'm seeing is that the law is simply too vague. When you write bills or when you write laws, you do not want to leave room for interpretation, okay? Because that's the issue you're having here. It states the Attorney General's office declared the House Bill 481 does not explicitly require doctors to keep a brain dead woman on life support. However, because the bill, again, is so vague, it left room for interpretation. So they even said the same thing. They're pretty much saying, well, in my opinion, Attorney General's office doesn't believe that this law, heartbeat law, or House Bill 481, or life-saving, whatever you want to call it, they're stating this bill does not require, per se, to keep someone on life support to save a baby. And you have the hospital saying, well, it doesn't say not to. So that's the issue you're running into. This bill is simply too vague. So in my opinion, family, it needs to be rewritten to include situations and scenarios like this. Now, this is typically what happens. You'll see laws where they're not written so well and they need to be rewritten. It's unfortunate, but it does take situations like this to say, okay, let's look at the books and let's see where we can edit this law or rewrite it and make it better. Okay? So what can be done, family? Now, they could push to have the doctor's examination and prognosis done in a timely manner. They could say, hey, look, doc, I really have a deep concern for Adriana Smith being on life support. I feel it's immoral, it's unjust, it's not right. I feel like you're experimenting. Can you please figure out the prognosis of the baby so we can make a determination if this baby is going to have a life expectancy or what type of life expectancy this baby may have after birth. So that's something that's needed, in my opinion, to be able to argue your case to pull Miss Adriana Smith off of life support. Okay. Second, they can always request for a second opinion, especially in the event of a family member who's brain dead. So from my understanding and from what I read, specifically for brain dead members or brain dead family members, you can request a second opinion, okay? They can also request a transfer, but if you request a transfer, you're going to deal with the same issues. So next, they could bring forth a lawsuit with the hospital where pretty much they can just take it up to the courts, okay? And let the courts handle it. The courts will say, is this right or wrong? Am I violating this individual's rights by trying to assert and provide rights for another person or unborn child? They could bring forth a lawsuit with the hospital and just go ahead and take it up right to the courts. That way, this issue is brought to the forefront, then maybe this law would be changed or amended. Okay, family? So those are just a couple things that can be done, and that's just my opinion on the matter after doing a little bit of research. Now, as taxpayers, y'all, as voters, we need to start making those changes, making those movements. I see a lot of videos and a lot of conversation and a lot of talk. But y'all, we need to start finding the right level of government. Okay, was this state? Was this federal? Okay, we need to start talking to our legislators, bringing up issues in our community. We can reach out to our representatives. I wrote my representative one time. People don't believe me. I had chemtrails and stuff going up and down my yard. It was burning up my plants, giving my cats asthma and stuff, and I got frustrated. I found my representative. I wrote them a letter. I gave them a call, and they did respond. They emailed me and they called me back. They didn't give me the response I wanted, but they did respond. Okay, so just wanted to share that with you. Now, we can also draft proposals ourselves. We can build public support. We can petition, lobby. We can get signatures from the community. We can garner support on this topic. If you truly care, that's the things and those are the steps that we need to be taking. So that way, this situation doesn't happen to someone else again, and our individual rights are still protected. It's just important that us voters, us taxpayers, we start to engage and cooperate and insert ourselves into these conversations in our community, okay? Because if we're being honest, that is truly the only way that we can make a change. We have to play by the rules of the game. And unfortunately, they have these laws in place where it's affecting the rights of Miss Adriana Smith. So, I don't want to say rest in peace now because obviously she's still technically in this lifetime. However, I do want to send my condolences to her family, and it's a sad situation. She has a son. So it's so sad all the way around, but I'm also an understanding person. I understand deeply the concerns of the family, but I also understand as well the people who are speaking up for the rights of the unborn child. Okay. So that's it for today, family. I know it's a touchy subject. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start bringing some positivity on this channel to mix in with the negative that I'm bringing. I apologize. But these are stories that people are talking about online all day. Family and friends are just concerned about it as well. It hits close to home. So again, I know it's a touchy subject, but we'd love to hear from you. Do you think the hospital is doing the right thing? And do you think House Bill 481 in Georgia should be amended to include situations and scenarios like this? If so, go ahead and drop your comments below. So that's it for today, family. If you found value in this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I want to thank you so much for stopping by and having this conversation with me today. It's really important to have these type of conversations in our community. So again, I appreciate you all. Hope you enjoy your day today.